Welcome to the Medicare Readiness Show! Hi everybody, welcome to the Medicare Readiness Show. My name is Elliott and I'm here with my brother Mohan.
Hi everyone.
Say hi to
Welcome.
And this is episode 3, and today we're going to be talking about a couple different things. We're going to be talking about leaving employer insurance, Medicare timing if you're turning 65, and also IRMAA. And we'll get to that in just a minute, but just want to give you guys kind of a little bit of an update of what's been going in the office and what's going on. We've had open enrollment is over back in December.
Well, we're coming off one of our busiest open enrollment seasons to date.
Yeah, I think we talked about
from October to December, so we're still kind of riding the downslope from that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think we ended up talking to like 450 of our current clients. So
at least.
Yeah, it was a busy open enrollment. And that's of course another thing that we, one of the services that we provide to our clients is every open enrollment they can contact us and we can help them shop for new prescription plans, all that good stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and just kind of getting started in the new year here. This is our first episode of 2020.
Yeah, just kind of getting back in the saddle here.
Yep. Mo's got a new apartment.
We've got a new apartment. It's been a busy week moving.
Yep.
You don't realize how much junk you accumulate until you try moving it all at the same time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But definitely a fresh start.
Yeah.
And
you've been MIA here in the office a couple days, but getting all moved in.
All moved in.
Yeah.
Trying my best to make an appearance here.
Yeah. No, you are.
But yeah, things are starting to kind of get back into the routine from open enrollment.
Yeah.
So that's what brings us here.
Yeah.
Now trying to get back into the podcast going.
Yep.
And getting the Medicare information out.
Yeah, we're going to try and be doing these, I don't know how often, but we should probably come up with a schedule of how often we want to do these. But we want to, now that the New Year's kind of reset, I think we're trying to get some of the different ideas we had for our business back up and running for 2020. So we'll see how that goes. So why don't we jump into the questions here? We got 3 questions that we're going to be going through today. The first question here is from Greg. And he asks, I'm 67 years old. I've stayed on my employer's health insurance plan. When I turned 65, I enrolled into just Part A of Medicare, but now I'm planning on retiring soon. How do I enroll into Part B of Medicare?
So for most people that are turning 65, it's very easy, and probably the most convenient way is to just do it online.
Yeah.
Probably takes about 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
But if you're past age 65 and you've been covered through your employer or your spouse's employer's group insurance, you can either mail in your Part B application or you can walk it into a Social Security office.
Yeah, and there's 2 documents that if you've stayed on your employer insurance past 65, there's 2 documents that you'll need to have completed. The first it's called an employer verification form. Your HR department or benefits signs off on it stating that you've had employer insurance, and that way you avoid penalties. We all want to avoid those Medicare penalties. So you need that document signed by your company. And then the second form is a Part B enrollment form that you can just complete on your own. You put in the remarks section when you'd like to start your Part B, and that somehow needs to get to Social Security. Now, what I would suggest, and Mo, I don't know what your experience is with your clients, but what I'd suggest is walking those 2 documents in to a local Social Security office, because I've had clients that have mailed it into their local office and their office mailed it back to them because it was incomplete, and it took about a month for it to get returned in the mail. So
and it's not the most convenient thing to take time out of your day to go down to the Medicare office
or Social Security office.
Right, the Social Security office. Yeah. But being able to talk to somebody in person, that way if there's any issues or discrepancies that come up on the application, they're able to fix it right then and there, let you know what you need, instead of, because mailing it is fine, it just takes time. So if there's an issue, then it's going to take time for the mail to circulate.
Yep.
And by the time they see it, and then they have to mail it back because they're not going to call you.
Yeah.
They have to mail it.
Yeah.
So it might not be convenient, but in the long run, probably save you the most time.
Yeah, it's going to be the most effective way to get yourself enrolled in Part B. And, even if there's something else that Social Security needs, I've had clients say Social Security was asking for a marriage certificate or extra forms of identity, or, a passport or a birth certificate, or, extra forms of ID. So you'll know right off the bat when you go to see Social Security, okay, they actually need a marriage certificate. Okay, let me get that and bring it in. Otherwise, it might take a month or more for you to find out. So, yeah, always best to, if possible, go down to a Social Security office to enroll into Part B.
Right, and with Medicare, there's all sorts of deadlines, so time is very valuable when it comes to Medicare timing.
Yeah, if you can give yourself a good 2 to 3 months in advance, getting that stuff,
Right.
Get the ball rolling for everything, that's the best.
Right.
Give yourself time.
Right, and that brings us to our next question regarding the Medicare enrollment timing. This question comes from client Phil, who writes, "I'm going to be new to Medicare. How much time do I have to choose which type of Medicare plan I want?"
Yeah, so this individual, I believe their birthday is coming up in either April or May. Let's just say it's April. And so he has the month of January, February, and March to enroll into Original Medicare. And he can do that online since he's turning 65. He doesn't need to do those extra documents. So he'll do that. And then he's got, we have until March 31st if he wants to start all his Medicare plans, whether he wants supplemental or prescription plans or Medicare Advantage plans. And he wants those to start April 1st. Then we have until March 31st to figure out what type of program he wants to do. Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage. We have until the last day of March. Yeah. So that, that would be the timing on that. Is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, so the soonest that your Medicare can start if you're turning 65 is going to be the first of the month that you actually turn 65, but you have the 3 months prior to that where you're eligible to at least initiate your enrollment. And once you've initiated that enrollment with Medicare, it does take some time for them to process that. And during that time, you can choose which type of supplemental coverage you want. Yeah. And technically, if it comes down to it, you can submit paperwork the day before your Medicare starts. But ideally, it takes time. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of pieces that need to fall into place. So ideally, you probably want to give yourself at least a month or so before your Medicare starts.
Yeah, so that way the companies can process the paperwork, get you into their system, mail you out ID cards. That can take 2 to 3 weeks for all that to happen. So, you want to try and get everything lined up and in place, ready to go, at least a week before it actually goes into effect. So giving yourself about a month, that's usually plenty of time. But the more time you can devote or take care of in advance, the better, obviously. Okay, so let's jump into question 3. Question 3 comes from Denise. And Denise asks, "I just got my quarterly bill for Medicare deductions, and it has really gone up. It will be about $640 per quarter starting March 1st. What can I do about this?"
Yeah, so with Medicare, they do have what's called IRMAA, which is an adjustment on your monthly premium.
Yeah, and what IRMAA stands for Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount.
Right. So typically for higher income earners, and there's varying factors such as your modified adjusted gross income, also whether you file your taxes individual or file them jointly, is going to make an impact on or determine how much you're going to be paying for your Part B premium. And what happens is Medicare, or Social Security rather, is going to look at your taxes from 2 years prior. So we're in 2020.
Yep.
For this year, anyone on Medicare, they're going to be looking at 2018 tax returns to determine how much you're paying for 2020.
Yeah.
But in some cases, you might be retiring this year, or you've had the sale of a home.
Yeah.
So your income might not might not be current.
Yeah.
So what can you do about it?
Yeah, so there's what's called a life-changing event form. So if you had to have a life-changing event that adjusts your income, so I think in this situation there was a sale of an income-producing property that got attributed to their income, or situations where somebody retires and they're earning less income, or even the death of a spouse, anything like that where it's a life-changing event. You can apply to get your Part B reduced by completing this life-changing event form, sending it into Social Security. I've had clients who are earning higher income during their working years, but as soon as they retire, their income's going to drop to what would be the base premium for Part B. So that could be a savings of $50, $100, $150, $200 a month, depending on how much your income is being adjusted. So instead of waiting 2 years for Medicare to catch up, because Medicare is always looking back 2 years, you can apply to get that reduced immediately. So I always suggest anytime somebody calls me wondering what this IRMAA thing is let's get them the life-changing event form, submit it, see what Social Security says. If you want to go into a local office and plead your case, by all means, go for it. The worst thing they could say is no. So that would be our suggestion for trying to reduce your Part B premiums.
Yeah, and it's a fairly simple form too. And like you said, if it's going to amount to a substantial savings, probably be worth the time to at least look into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that covers it. Those are the 3 questions for today. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to be trying putting more of these together this year in 2020. If you'd like to visit our site, it's martinmedicare.com. And
if you have any recommendations for topics that you'd like to hear more about, we're definitely open to suggestions. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us.
And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, why don't we, if you're watching this video and you have any questions about Medicare, we'll try and feature it on our next Medicare Readiness Show. You can email your question to Elliott at weretiresmart.com, and you might get featured on our next video.
Yeah. So Thanks for joining us, and we'll look forward to bringing more content to you soon in the near future.
Thanks for watching or listening.
Or both.
Bye.
Bye now.
Hey, bye.